Hi and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave and this is episode 1359B, and today's date is August 20th, 2017, and the title of the episode is Two Sides Fight for Control. We are coming down to the wire. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, as we can see, Steve Bannon, well, he has been removed from the White House. There are some saying that he's fired, others saying that he resigned about 2 weeks ago. And this could be all part of Trump's strategy, or we might see a lot of problems in his administration. Now, what's very interesting is the corporate media is out there saying that, the Trump presidency that we fought for is completely over. And Steve Bannon right now is saying that everything that Trump has been trying to do, there are certain forces within government that has been stopping him. And he's saying now he's in a position to go full force and fight or go to war for Trump. And we can see at this point, this might be a strategy which Bannon and Trump came up with, because now he has the ability to call out certain individuals. He has the ability to work with the news organization he joined back up with Breitbart to push the agenda of fighting against those people who are not elected, those people who are in the background, those people who are trying to change everything. And we can see right now that he is pushing the idea that he's going to be calling a lot of people out on the carpet here. And he's going to be saying, listen, this is what's been going on. And he went on to say that if there's any confusion out there, let me clear it up. I'm leaving the White House and going to war for Trump against his opponents on Capitol Hill, in the media, and in corporate America. We got to do this. The president's default position is to do it, but the apparatus is going crazy. Don't get me wrong. It's like every day. And we can see right now, he's pushing the idea that they're going to go full force trying to do this. Now, we're in this situation where we have both sides and they are battling it out right now. There's a fierce battle going on with who controls the country right now. Now, we have the corporate media, which is the mouthpiece for the deep state, the elite, the cabal, and then we have the other individuals who are fighting against this. Now, remember, Trump, not really part of the Republicans, not really part of the Democrats, and he's trying to basically push a different agenda than what the cabal actually wants. And what's very interesting is the corporate media is out there, and you can see from what happened in Charlottesville where they're pushing the idea that, we need to get rid of the Confederate flag, we need to get rid of all the statues. And NPR and PBS, well, they teamed up with Marist to poll Americans on their views of historic Confederate monuments. And I don't think they really expected the polls to come back the way they did. And they tried to manipulate them a little bit, but it was overwhelmingly to keep the statues. Now, they did this poll, and the question read, do you think statues honoring leaders of the Confederacy should remain as historical symbols, be removed because they're offensive? Now, 62% said they should remain. 27% said they should be removed. And they didn't expect this to happen. They didn't realize that, once again, how the American people are actually thinking. Now, Condoleezza Rice was out there, and she was saying that we should keep the statues because this is part of American history. This gives us a story, and it points to what happened so we never repeat it once again. And I completely agree with her. But of course, the elite, the cabal, the corporate media, they're pushing a certain agenda, and they're pushing it very, very hard to convince the people and to actually separate the people, because their whole approach is conquer and divide. This is why the people need to stop fighting each other and come together. And I know this is a very difficult thing to do, but this is what needs to happen. We need to come together and work together and find out who is the true enemy. Why are they doing this? How can we get rid of them? And who in government is actually working for the people? Now, we know, going back many months, Trump laid out this entire framework to go after voter fraud. And what's very interesting is that, according to a new study of U.S. Census data, America has more registered voters than actual live voters. Now, this is kind of troubling because when you look at it, how can this be? Now, the data comes from Judicial Watch's Election Integrity Project. The group looked at data from 2011 to 2015 produced by the U.S. Census Bureau, and they found that, yeah, there's anomalies in the data. Now, as reported by the National Review's DeRoy Murdoch, who did some number crunching of his own, some 3.5 million more people are registered to vote in the U.S. than are alive among American adult citizens. Such staggering inaccuracy is an engraved invitation to voter fraud. Now, Murdoch counted Judicial Watch's state-by-state tally and found that 462 U.S. counties had a registration rate exceeding 100% of all eligible voters. That's 3.552 million people who Murdoch calls ghost voters. And how many people is that? Well, there are 21 states that don't have that many people. Now, California, for instance, has 11 counties with more registered voters than actual voters. Now, to me, this tells us that there is voter fraud. Something is wrong with our system, and this is something they don't want us to know. This is why they're fighting so hard against looking into voter registration. They don't want anyone to figure what they've been doing over the many, many years. Now, Trump is reviewing options for Afghanistan. He's at Camp David, and he's saying that he's meeting with the generals. We don't know exactly what the strategy is going to be for Afghanistan, and we know that the Taliban, Russia, they're saying that, the United States should leave Afghanistan. I do believe that the soldiers should leave Afghanistan. There's no reason for the United States to be there, except for the intelligence agencies where they're protecting the poppy fields, protecting certain assets within Afghanistan. That's why they want to stay. But for the people of the United States, there's no reason to take our children, our loved ones, and send them over there to fight for something else than what is really being reported to the American people. We see that there has been a reduction in the amount of U.S. troops taking part in the joint exercise with South Korean forces this year. Now, last year, 25,000 soldiers took part of this exercise that's going on right now. Now it's only 17,500. Is this a sign, a subtle sign, to North Korea saying, listen, we're scaling back and we're not using as many troops to show that, yes, we are ready for talks? Now, Mattis is out there saying, this is all part of the training and we're using less soldiers. But I personally think that they're scaling it back to show that, listen, we want to have talks. This way, the corporate media is not out there saying, oh my God, look what's going on here. They're doing actually the opposite of what we want. We want to go to war with North Korea. We don't want to have diplomacy. Because remember, the elite, the deep state, the cabal, they want war with North Korea. Now, the Islamic State, they are in a huge amount of trouble. We see right now that Syria, well, they are trapping the Islamic State. They have them encircled. They've been shutting off many different roadways where they were getting supplies, and they're completely cut off right now. And right now, the Islamic State fighters, they are surrounded, and they have absolutely no place to go. And it looks like it's just maybe days, weeks, or months where these terrorist groups, their days are numbered right now. Now, what's very interesting, during the Obama administration, they kept saying that the war in Syria is going to be going on forever. In Iraq, it's going to be going on forever. We can't destroy the Islamic State. It's completely impossible. It's going to be years and years and years, and we're never leaving these two areas because the Islamic State, they are just too powerful for the United States. And we know that the Islamic State, Al-Qaeda, and all the rest, they're all created by the United States, the coalition forces, Israel. They're all part of it. Now, with the disintegration of these terrorist groups, where Russia and Syria, they're winning the battle, winning the war in Syria, Iraq basically exterminated most of the Islamic State out of Iraq, and Libya, the Haftar is making huge gains there. Lebanon is going after the Islamic State. The Islamic State is really not a threat anymore, and the United States, back during Obama's term, said even when we beat the Islamic State in Syria, which we knew they were never going to do, the United States was never going to leave Syria or Iraq. Now, the U.S. State Department spokesperson Heather Nauert said the following, that the United States has no intention of staying in Syria after defeating the Islamic State terrorists, where the United States is going to be leaving Syria, not staying. And it's amazing how Russia stepped in, worked with Syria, worked with Iran, worked with Turkey, and they were able to destroy the Islamic State. Because remember, during this period of time of Obama's reign, the corporate media, Obama, all the generals were saying, no, we can't beat the Islamic State. They're gaining too much ground. They're too powerful. They have their own income. And all that was completely destroyed and showed that the Islamic State and all these terrorist groups were being supported by the United States, by the coalition forces, by Israel. And this proves once again that we weren't trying to destroy them. We were helping them take control of Syria. We were helping them take control of Iraq to keep the borders open. Now everything is being shut down. Now, we know there's a huge battle going on between the cabal, the Trump administration, and it's being fought right in front of the American people. And we can see that things are definitely falling apart for the cabal. They're trying everything they possibly can to keep control of basically everything. Because look what's happening in the Middle East. Everything that they fought for, everything that they created is completely falling apart. The only thing they have left right now is some type of false flag event, which they could do with North Korea. I don't think they're going to do anything with Venezuela. I think Syria is a lost cause right now. So I think right now what they have is North Korea. Or they need to do something here in the United States because their main goal is to get rid of Trump. And you can see with these different government officials where they're filing, letters of impeachment, they're trying to do whatever they possibly can to remove him or to make him look like he's a racist, a white supremacist, a neo-Nazi, and this is what they've been trying to do. And we can see that they use different groups like Antifa and many others to push their agenda. Now, Antifa, they are scheduling protests on November 4th. Will they become violent? Maybe, maybe not. But we can see from what they're saying is that they are planning to end the Trump-Pence regime via acts of violence and terrorism across the United States. So this is one of the dates that we need to look at and look to see what's going to happen, because they're already saying that they're planning something for this period of time. Now, as we can see, the corporate media is still pushing their agenda. They're the mouthpiece of the cabal, and we can see that Trump is using different types of strategy, but there's a huge battle. Who's going to win? Who's going to take full control? We don't know as of yet, but we can see we're coming down to the wire here. And it can go either way. We don't know as of yet. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.